Look into my eyes. Do you see fear? You come at me with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the God of Israel. Yes! Right between the eyes! Did you see that? Anyone? Of course not. Okay then, one more time. Tally, no! I'm trying to protect us from this Philistine. Whoa! No, not that way. Come on. Back to your mom. Right, Philistine. Oh, wait! Right between the eyes. Oh, of course. That one you saw. Tally! Tally, no! I'm coming, girl! Whoa, easy! Shira! I will bring her home safely. Whoa! Tally, wait, no! There you go. I'm almost through. Okay. Oh! Tally, stop! No! doesn't help. That does. Stop. Thank you. Yena haleni nafshi yeshobe yancheni b'mgalet tzedek leman shemo.
What you have just watched is a concept short for a musical animated feature film on the story of David, and our vision is to tell it in the same quality as movies like Tangled and Frozen. This is more than a movie. This is a movement to join people from all over the world to try and make the world's most watched animated theatrical release.
You can help us make this film by going to angel.com/David to invest today.
Growing up in the wild of Africa was the most incredible experience, and it was there that I bumped into the most amazing character of God and fell in love with him. At the same time, I was reading David's story, and it just really struck me. On one particular canoe trip on the Zambezi River, where you could canoe for days and not see a human being, I was reading the scriptures and I read, "I found in David, son of Jesse, a man after my own heart." And I thought how amazing it would be to do a film that would give people all over the world a glimpse into God's heart. We grew up on a farm that had no electricity. I only saw my first film when I was 14 years old, and it was such an electric experience. I was blown away by the power of film and the power of story to connect with people and move people. And from that day, I became passionate to tell a story on the life of David. The question is, can a group of farmers from Africa make a global hit that's going to reach the world? This is in and of itself an incredible David versus Goliath story.
There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And in order to tell a story as big as David, we need people from all around the world to come together.
Over the last 20 years, Jacqui and I have just been blown away by how God has miraculously drawn talent to us. Now we have the most awesome, high-quality team.
Like Nathan Stanton, who spent 22 years at Pixar, Borja Mentora, a Disney animation alumni, other talent from massive films like Big Hero 6, Tangled, Finding Nemo, Zootopia, Moana, Prince of Egypt, and many more.
Our first breakout hit is Jungle Beat, an incredible and beautiful show. On our YouTube channel, we get over 2 billion views a year. We've got 7 million subscribers. We also recently released our first animated feature film called Jungle Beat the Movie. And incredibly, it was on Netflix's top 10 for over 2 weeks, both live action and animated feature films in the US. We are also doing a theatrical release of Jungle Beat the Movie in China later this year, and are in production of Jungle Beat the Movie 2. What really excites me is if you take Jungle Beat the Movie, we produced that for $5 million. And I'd really encourage you to go and watch it on Netflix to see the quality of movie we produced for that price. And just imagine the quality of movie we could produce on David with the proper budget. With David, we considered the route of engaging with Hollywood, and there is significant interest down that route. But we really felt that from a creative point of view, we need to stay the head and not the tail of this project. And it's a slingshot, like David went with a slingshot to fight Goliath. We really believe that the strategy needs to be outside the Hollywood system for it to work. In this vein, we are thrilled to be working with Angel Studios for distribution. Angel Studios did the TV series The Chosen, which has become the world's biggest TV series on the life of Jesus Christ. The Chosen has generated hundreds of millions of views and tens of millions of dollars. We've already got $19 million of investments and need another $35 million to complete this project. We need your help to bring God's heart to the world through the story of David.
Go to angel.com/David to invest in this film today.
And let's join together to try and make the world's most watched animated theatrical release.
Hi guys, welcome. We are so excited to be back on another live stream about the Project David that we're working on. And thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us already. We are so excited to be working with so many of you. I am your host this evening. My name is Rita Mbanga, and I'm one of the producers of David. We've got such a special guest this evening, Jacqui Cunningham, along with her husband, Phil. Jacqui is the co-founder of Sunrise Animation Studios and an executive producer on David. Just a little reminder, you guys can get involved too. Please head on over to angel.com/David. We are currently open for investments. So now's the time to get in there and invest and join us in creating this amazing film. We are so stoked. And yeah, I think we would like to just get going and bring Jacqui on the screen and start getting to know Jax a little bit. Hi, girl.
Hello, Reed. How are you, girl?
Oh,
What
so
a
well,
treat
thank
to
you.
be
All the
with you.
benefits. I know, all the better for spending this time with you. And Jacqui and I have been working together for 20 years. And so it is just, yeah, and Jacqui is just one of the most wonderful people on the entire planet. And so it is my supreme honor and privilege, Jax, to get to chat to you tonight and for people to get to know a little bit of who you are. So thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
to kick off, Jax,
I must say, seeing your face there makes me feel very comfortable. Sorry.
Awesome. That's so great. No, I love it. I know, Jax, you are supremely passionate about two things when it comes to our industry. Number one is story, and number two is people. So I just wanted to start by asking you, why do you love story so much, and why do you love people so much?
So, if I think about story, Reed, you know, I've read so many books in my life, and if I think of books that says this is the 7 steps to doing this, or this is the 7 steps to that, it seems powerful in the moment, but I don't seem to ever remember it. I seem to have a memory like a mouse. But if I hear somebody's story, it seems to touch and resonate with something within me, deep within. And I don't know, I think story is the most powerful way of changing lives. It's something we can all touch, sort of like identify with, and that's why I love it. I just think it's so powerful.
Absolutely, that's so awesome. And people, Jax?
Well, Reed, yeah, I mean, I just love people and who they are. For me, life is about people, and without people in life would be boring, because people just bring the whole kaleidoscope and rainbow, I think, of what God meant by the body of Christ. So I often say to my kids, you know, while you being an ear and you can't understand somebody who's the mouth, even though you're so close together, one day in eternity, we'll all understand it. You'll suddenly get the concept of why the ear is the ear, why the mouth is the mouth, and how beautifully they actually work together. So I love people, I love their stories, I love looking into people and understanding who they are and encouraging them to be the best version of who they are. So, yeah, combination of those things gives me purpose and why my reason for doing what I do. Yeah.
Amazing. That's so amazing. And you know, just knowing you, like that's so who you are, and that's absolutely how you live. And for those who don't know Jacqui, if you come to the studio, Jacqui will come in the morning and she just can literally spend a day just connecting deeply with people. Like, and everyone just like pours out who they are to Jack. She just has got this most incredible, I guess it's, you know, an authenticity about you that you just genuinely love people. That just absolutely comes across in like how you live your life, and it's incredible to be around, I must say. And Jax, do you want to share with us why you believe so much in the power of animation as a storytelling method?
I think what I love about animation is you can reach people across the world, because something, you know, you learn through life, and if present day me could give 21-year-old me any advice, it would be, you don't know much at 21, even though you think you do. And what I love about animation is I love the creativity, I love the color, I love the possibilities, and I love that you can actually reach everybody. It isn't specific to a certain people group, you can bring in the kaleidoscope of people across the world, the rainbow, sort of like values. I just think it's the most fantastic medium to work with. And as you know, Rita, I myself, I love being creative. It's my happy space. I love, if I'm being creative and I'm with people, I just find it amazing. And I think, and if I think of my favorite movies, one of my absolute favorite movies is Spirit, the horse Spirit, and that's an animation, but it's had the most profound effect in my life because, and I think to add another thing, why I love animation is because I love family, as you know. I mean, family and my children, raising my children was one of the greatest things I ever did in my life. And when I met Phil's parents in Zimbabwe and the family I'd come from, I just realized that raising your children is one of the noblest acts we can do as parents. And animation provides such a wonderful way of connecting with them because you can go and enjoy it together as a family, and you can walk out and talk about it as a family, and which you can't necessarily do in all forms of media. So I think there's something very powerful in that. Yeah.
Hugely powerful. And kind of on that note, Jax, can we take a step back and can you tell us how Sunrise started and kind of your version of the origins of Sunrise Animation Studios?
So never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to make movies. I went to university and I studied genetics and biochemistry of all things. I met this farmer who was studying agriculture, and I thought all my dreams would come true because I just wanted to live in Zimbabwe. I wanted to farm. I wanted to be outdoors. Being outdoors, as you know, Rita, is just my passion. And so I thought, that's it. But if I'm honest with you, what also drew me so deeply to Phil was his love for God and his deep sense of adventure and passion for risk. So we'd come down actually on a holiday in South Africa, and Phil, from the day I met him, has been talking about David. I would say David is the most influential story in Philip's life. And as long back as I can remember, he just read the Psalms over and over. And if ever I was having a tough time or I asked him for advice, he would point me towards the Psalms and just say, there's the answers, babe. Just go read that. And so we came down on holiday, and the whole idea was Phil was going to write a book on David. And as you know, it was the book, The Eighth Son. We were so gung-ho, and we really believed we were going to sell this book and change lives and show people about the character of God and who God was or is. And towards the end, we were just lying on the beach, and Phil rolled over and said, do you feel like making a movie? And I was like, that's a good idea, thinking it was that simple. But it appealed to me with the risk and the adventure, and here we are making movies as a scientist and a farmer. So, yeah.
That's so fantastic. I love that. It's so great. And then I think just following up from last week, then we went on to make The Legend of the Sky Kingdom, which ended up being actually the first animated feature film made on the continent. What a cool story. And I know family.
What I love about that is the fact that you were part of that, and Brent, for example, and Joe, and there was those early days. We all saw the early days together, which has made the journey, because you journey with people. It's not about what you do. You're journeying along the way with people, and it's such a privilege to be able to say that we've journeyed with people from the start. So
so wonderful. And we can have a good laugh about all our mistakes back then. And we've definitely learned as we've gone, which has been amazing. But as you say, it's so amazing to walk with people and learn together, right? Like it's just been the most wonderful environment to learn and to grow together. It's been wonderful. What would you say has defined your story?
It sounds like such a simple answer, but I would say God and the experiences, the journey. So nothing in particular that springs to mind straight away. It's the journey, it's the process, I say to my kids on a regular basis, every choice that you make is like picking up a brick that you build a house for yourself to live in one day. And I think choices are more important than we think, but I'm also not saying that means it's all up to you and you make only good choices, even the bad choices. And I think that's what I love about the story of David, is David's life was definitely not blemish free. If anything, it was full of color, a lot of mishap along the way, but it's how we take all those things that are given to us. And I also say to my kids quite regularly, I say, we don't choose the cards we're given, but we do choose how we play the hand. And I think to put it down to one thing, I can't say it's one thing. I'd say it's every day. The little choices, playing those that hand of cards. There's one of my absolute favorite songs is Brian Adams sings that song, Never Let Go. And in it, he talks about the card of hands. Can you sit down and play another hand? For me, I've seen that process in life. And those are the defining moments. The defining moments are the times when I do fail, when I get a set of cards that I don't necessarily choose, but I choose how to play them. And then I get a good set. And that's the other side, is I get a good set of cards and I make the mess and I throw it away, and slowly they add up and creates where we are today. So creates some growth and and if there's one thing I've learned, and I say often, because my kids, as you know, are now early 20s and my last one has just left school, the person I was at 21 isn't who I am today. And you learn, and it's a process and a journey, and it's about timing, not forcing things. So I would say my whole life is a defining moment.
I love that. No, but I love that you use what you're saying. You use everything, the good and the bad, defines, how you handle the good and the bad is what defines you, and that's huge. And I think it was Ray Hughes who said on a previous live stream, he said the difference between Saul and David was that when he fell, they both fell. When David fell, he ran to God, and when Saul fell, he ran away from God, So it's, I guess, and I love that so much. It just really, really stuck with me. And it's kind of what you're saying, right? Yes. It's like, these things are going to happen, but, run to God in and through it. And that's amazing. Yeah. And kind of speaking about that and David, and David conquering the giant, would you mind sharing some of the giants you have encountered along the way?
So, my brain would have flicked to things that happen, like significant effects. But I would say probably the greatest giant that I've faced, and I'm still facing and will face to the day I step into eternity, is myself. Because I think one of the biggest challenges for us as people is we don't face ourselves and realize that. So it's a journey again, I say, of the picture I have in my mind is David trying on Saul's armor. And I think through life, we try on armor. People put armor on us. We allow armor to be put on us. We even pick up armor that isn't who we were meant to be. But we learn through life, and I think it's as we face physical things, like I could tell you so many fantastic stories and adventures that Phil and I have had, because let me tell you, starting animation from scratch with nothing is fraught with some dynamic stories that now seem funny, but they weren't funny at the time. Even though Phil and I have also laughed through some. I think one of the things I love about Phil is his ability to laugh when things go wrong. And he was saying for me when we were first married was, "Babe, life's not so serious." And I've learned that those are the things that are not too serious. And life is difficult for all of us. And so I would say that the giant I've faced is learning to believe that God made me. And like David, God made David. And if we could all recognize that in an inner way and of itself, we're all David. And it's to stand up and recognize that you are king in your life through Jesus. And to accept that and to embrace it, the beauty of it. You know, like you and I were chatting, it's to embrace and say, I'm the ear, and that's cool. It's been a journey for me, and that's why I love people, because you learn the most about yourself with people. Because you look in the mirror, you see things about yourself you don't like, you see things you do like. Yeah, and so I would say for me it's learning to accept responsibility, and you know, to a certain age there are things you don't choose in life, but there does come a point where you actually have to stand up and say, right, I'm going to stand up and receive my inheritance in Jesus, and this is how I'm going to live forward.
I love that so much. And so, you know, your faith and your love for Jesus really shines out of you. Would you be happy to talk about your faith journey in life? And kind of what your big philosophies are that you live by and encourage your children to live by?
So I would say the greatest thing for me was, again, recognizing simple words that Jesus said on the cross, and that was, it is finished. And I think we strive so hard, and for somebody like myself, I'm a doer, I'm a practical person, I really struggle to sit still. I've probably got a lot of Martha in me, and I've had to learn, and I like to simplify things. I look at a problem, but I just want to solve it there and then and get on and move on. And I've had to learn to rest. I've had to wait on timing. And I think the greatest lesson I've learned is that rest isn't in the physical thing I do. Rest is that place that you only find at the cross, which is rest in Jesus, and knowing that He is the source of life. He is where my identity comes from. He is that Sabbath rest. That's the Sabbath rest where I don't beat myself up because I fail daily, and it's a journey. I have good days and bad days. And the thing I love about sleep the most, I say to my kids on a regular basis, is sleep, there's a reason why God put sleep in the day, and that is to clear the windscreen for the morning. And that verse is I knew every morning. I wake up with anticipation for what's good and what's new, and there is always something good and new and positive in the day.
I love that. That's so amazing. Your kids are lucky to have you as their mum.
I'm lucky to have them.
And just bouncing back to the David feature film, can you tell us a couple of reasons why you are so excited about David as an animated feature?
Reet, do you remember you and I telling Mr. Phil that animation was the way to go? I remember when, in the beginning, when Phil and I were first married, his favorite movies are Braveheart and Gladiator, and again, it's that expansive personality of risk and adventure. But why I love animation is, well, I love the people we work with. I think the animation industry as a whole is just a wonderful group of people. It's an incredible thing. When we started Sunrise, I remember saying to Phil, Sunrise, the vision I have for Sunrise, and he agreed instantly, is not for us to one day build this massive studio that we could put a tag to saying we are Disney or we are Pixar or even live action studios. I said to him, Sunrise is a connection of relationships across the world. And while COVID took the wind out of our sails and it was a terrible time, it's amazing how COVID opened that opportunity for us as Sunrise. It suddenly made the world accessible across time zones, across countries, because it's super expensive to fly people and move them across countries. And again, I'm very mindful of families and shifting children. Some people moving is an adventure, which is fantastic, but for some children, they need the extended families around them, and there's a richness in that. So I love that animation allows us to employ people. I think as of last week, it was across 16 countries, but they don't have to leave their homes. And we're connecting. And for me, that's what Sunrise is. It's the connections we form. The connections we form with Angel, the connections we're forming with the crowd, inadvertently. So we might not know everybody, but the crowd is as important to us because they are part of the process, part of the movement, part of bringing truth and wholesome family values to the screen. Because without them, we'd never do it. And I think that's what I love about animation. It is it's huge. Animation is a difficult thing to achieve. You need people. And you don't just need animators, storyboard artists. You need wonderful people like Angel, the crowd, and other people in our network. So, yeah. I think it's an incredibly powerful medium to reach young people today. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just kind of going off what you're saying, what I love so much how if you take kind of a cross section of our team, everyone's personalities and skill sets are so different. And but we couldn't do what we do without that difference, right? And it's just this coming together of this incredibly diverse talent pool, and then kind of bringing everyone together, and it just makes something so magic, So Brent and I always laughed when we were doing Jungle Beat movie in Mauritius. Him and I shared an office, and you can sit still and write, 4 blank walls, and be completely satisfied and happy, and not talking to anyone in the day. And I kind of go crazy, if I have to do that. And then I can be like you, out talking to everyone, or at a film festival or a market, and super happy and buzzing. And he just wants to crawl under the bed. You know what I mean? If he has to do that. And so it was always used to be we work so well together, And we used to just always have such a laugh and be like, we're so different. But just just really click when we work together. And so it's, as you say, it's such a celebration of the eye, the hand, the foot, the nose, all actually being a part of one kind of body or unit, and just the synergy, and every part is really needed, and it's such a great way to kind of see that how we work. It's awesome.
What I also love, Reed, is in animation, and of course it takes a team to do absolutely anything in life. But with animation, in live action, you have actors who dominate the screen, and it's their personality that comes on the screen. Whereas in animation, what I love is that you've got people who they're all pouring in. So everybody's personalities are coming on the screen, because you've got an artist doing the cloth, you've got an artist doing the rig, you've got an artist doing the modeling, and they're bringing their story. So I love whenever our purpose statement at Sunrise is inspire through story. And you know, Reed, we've done so many coffee chats and interviewing and chatting with people. I think what we always, you know, try and encourage people is, don't just come to a job, bring your story, because your story needs to influence the work, and it will touch somebody, because your story is meant for somebody. Like, our story can't reach everybody. We need everybody's stories to come together. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. On last week's live stream, we heard Phil tell the story of you and him going from being friends to being married in 10 weeks. And we'd love to hear your side of the story.
So I'm hoping my kids are not listening right now, because every time I think about it, especially because they're in their 20s, I think to myself, oh my word. And we thought it was okay to put our parents through that. But actually, when you think about it, like my mum, just like that. So yes, it was super fast. But what I can say is, Phil was my best friend, and we did so much together. And I think what drew us together was God, and the same sort of passions, risk, adventure. And we used to spend hours and hours just having fun together out in the mountains and chatting, doing a lot, but chatting. And I remember going to Zimbabwe for the first time. I'd gone up to Whitewater Raft, and my dad said to me, he dropped me at the airport and he said, what's happening between you and this guy? And I was like, nothing, Dad, we're just friends. And 10 days later, I came back to say, oh, you know, that conversation we had, how would you feel if I got married in about 10 weeks' time, kind of thing. And yeah, the rest is history. So, and I can honestly say the best 31 years of my life. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I think it kind of sums up who Phil and I are. We make quick decisions, but when we make them, we both know it's what we want. So
Totally. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And Jax, what is your big dream for Sunrise, would you say?
I would say that, again, it's going to boil down to people, Reed. I would love to see David made. It's our passion. We've dreamed about it for 31 years. I would love people to see the story of David, and in it see a truth that's so missed by the world. I think we went to Israel quite recently, and with the children, and it was wonderful. It is such a fantastic land with so much story, so much history, so much passion. And yeah, I just think it's such a powerful story, and I think it could touch everybody and anybody, regardless of what they believe. And I think we'd all identify with certain aspects of David's life. I think it brings together music. We're working with such fantastic, feel so blessed to be working with Jason and Rhonda and the music team that they have, Jonas with the songs he's written. And music, as you know, is one of my deep passions. It's my go-to place. And in fact, when I need to process life, the first thing is my AirPods are in and it's music. That's how I think. I think in music. And I just think seeing this come alive, seeing Sunrise pull it off, from the tip of Africa, from these little Zimbabweans and Africans, where the world always thinks, you know, not great things come out of Africa. I think it would give me no more pleasure to see something so beautiful come out of a country so rich in every way, where people matter the most. Yeah. We might not have power, and we might have lots of power cuts and lots of problems, but it's just such a rich land. So if Sunrise could be that blessing to people and across the world, it would be the most wonderful thing. And if we could, in the process, with all the people we employ, inspire them to take on their giants and bring on the giants in their lives and achieve the impossible, it would be fantastic. I think my oldest daughter, her passion is horses, and she went to varsity, she studied for 6 years, but it goes back to that passion, and she just wants to ride horses and run an equine business. And I can see myself in her. I see the frustrations. I see those days when she's up at 5 and she's frustrated that the horses are injured and she doesn't have a farm, and I smile thinking, all I can do is encourage her to live her story and get through the hard, and the dreams will come. So if we could inspire people to dream and pull it off throughout, I would be delighted. Yeah.
It's so wonderful. I love it so much. And we've just got one more question for tonight, but it's actually not a question, it's a game. So a very quick game. So we've heard and seen how much you love people, and I know one of your favorite things is that you love sayings and quotes.
Yes.
And you always have the most amazing ones at the right time, just when we need them, and I love that. So the game is, I'm going to start one of your favorite sayings. I'll say the first 4 words of it.
Okay.
And then see if you recognize it and can finish it. And then once you've finished it, then maybe you can talk about the saying and why you love it so much.
Is there a prize? Is there a prize if I get it right?
The prize, yes.
Tough. Yeah.
Tough. Okay, so the saying starts, if you want to
go far. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yeah, it's my favorite African proverb. Yeah, sure.
I love it.
And I think that sums it up. Hey, that sums it up.
Totally.
And for an achiever, I remember at university I was so achievement orientated, and I learned there. And I learned through people, and I learned through living in Zimbabwe, and I learned that it's people that take you far on the journey, not achievement, not doing. That's fantastic, Reed. And like I said, I love quotes. I think if I had to think of 2 other very significant ones in my life, they come so quickly because I think of them so often. One would definitely be Nelson Mandela. I think living in Cape Town and running, I love running, as you know, and every time I look out to the Atlantic, I think of him sitting on Robben Island for 27 years.
Oh my God.
He must have lost hope, like Joseph in the pit. And even if I think about the last 31 years, there's been days for Phil and I when we've thought, we're never going to make this David movie. It's just impossible. And I love, again, Mandela's quote. I don't know the words off by heart, but he talks about when climbing a mountain, one must pause and steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds us. But in pausing, we know that there's many more mountains to climb. And I just love that concept of there are times to sit and pause and look at how far we've come and go, wow, this is fantastic. But know that the journey only ends when we step into eternity. It's time to keep going, keep climbing. There's never such a thing as we stop climbing. And Phil's mum was a very larger-than-life person. And my dad, too. My dad was an avid runner. And if I think of the 2 of them who've now stepped into eternity, the quote comes to mind of Mavis LaHer, where she says, you know, life's not meant to be lived safe. Rather, it's to skid into the grave sideways, shouting, what a ride. And yeah, I just hope by God's grace I can do that and slide in. And the last one, Reed, is Theodore Roosevelt. I love that quote about the critic. And he says, you know, it's not the critic that counts. And you just picture that arena. I think of it often because Phil just loves gladiators and I often say to my kids and to the staff. When I say my kids, I kind of like the Sunrise staff who I just adore, feel like children too. But I often say to them, don't hold the critic out. In fact, save seats for them in the front row and invite them and say, take a seat while I'm in the arena, and I'll show you. So, yeah.
Amazing. That's so wonderful. And what an inspiring way to end this time that we've had. And I could just talk to you all night. It is so wonderful and you're so inspiring.
Me too.
Thank you.
you.
But before we go, should we see if there may be a few questions that we can answer. Let's see if anything comes up. When will the David movie come out? So 2025. Jax, as you, the longest business cycle ever. And I think we started working on this project what year did Phil write the book?
Well, we were married in 98. It was quite soon after that, about 3 years after that. So a long time ago. Yes.
So,
Yes.
So I guess, when the film comes out when the film comes out in 2025, the idea for this film was born probably like 2001, I guess. So it'll be literally 24 years coming, which is just so amazing, isn't it? So yeah. And Jax, I'll let you take this one.
What is your favorite part? Definitely when David takes off Saul's armor. For me, that's such a defining moment. I just love that he suddenly recognized that the giant wasn't standing in front of him, and that he could recognize where all power comes from, and that was from God. And I just love it. I just think I would have loved to have been there. I think that's courage at its finest. Yeah, that's courage at its finest, because he had no guarantee what the outcome was, but he took a risk. And the risk paid off in that moment.
It paid off.
And the crazy thing is, he still made mistakes afterwards. And I think I love that too, that he wasn't perfect after that.
It's so true. And I love that God then still called him a man after his own heart, Imperfections aside, God is still like, so great.
Yes.
So inspiring. And then, this one, Jax, is a good one for you as well. What advice would you give women who want to work in this industry?
Go for it. Go for it. You can do it. Rita and I are passionate about women in animation. We both belong to the organization Women in Animation, and Rita's a mentor. We have a group in Sunrise called Women in Sunrise, which we possibly don't even do enough in it. But I can encourage you that at Sunrise, the men we work with are wonderful. I honestly can say that. And they work hard to work with us, to give us equal opportunity. And for a mum, and being able to stay at home and raise your kids, it's such a versatile job. And there's such opportunity. And I think our voices can be heard in powerful ways for women across the world. So I really would encourage it deeply. Would you agree, Reed?
Totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah. And it's very cool, like having kids and they're like, they're like, my mum made that, or you know what I mean? Like it's so cool for them, and they, they love that. And I think it's really, really important for them to kind of, see us doing that. So it's really awesome. I agree with you entirely. It's a wonderful industry. It's such a fulfilling and meaningful and, as you say, powerful industry, right? With just huge potential. So I would say to anyone who wants to get into this industry, go for it. Yeah. Oh, Jax, what's your favorite part about working with Mr. Phil?
Easiest person on the planet to work with. I don't take for granted that being able to work and flow with your husband and have such a fun time doing it it's a gift. And all I can say is one of the verses at our wedding was from James, every good and perfect gift comes from above. So I have faced many challenges in life, and yeah, I mean, I was attacked when I was a teenage girl, and so I've faced my fair share of challenges, but I've been blessed with the best marriage. And my favorite part is that he's given me freedom to be myself. He's set me as a woman. He treats me super equally, and I think one way to sum it up is I love that verse in the Bible that says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church." And I think that's the kind. Phil has shown me who Jesus is through his love, patience, 31 years, and because of it, I've been able to be the person I am today. So I think my favorite part is just give me wings to fly, and I love that he never gets stressed if I make mistakes. He lets me try what I want to try, and he doesn't try and curb me to be who he is. And I'm sure I drive him nuts. Yeah, I'm not as punctual as him, and I talk far too much. And I'm always derailing his meetings with conversations that, yeah, as you know, Rich.
So good. I love it. Cool. This is our last question. Jax, what do you hope people gain from watching David?
I think, as I said earlier, right in the beginning, Reach, is that everybody would recognize they are David. David is a story, but each and every person is a David, and each and every person is anointed to stand up, be king of their story, and yeah, I think, and to enjoy it as a family, to see the beauty that came out of the simple life in Israel, and also to fall in love with Israel. I love Israel. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Jax, thank you so much. It's been just so wonderful spending this time with you. And guys, thank you for watching another week. So awesome. Just a reminder for everyone to go and invest. Thank you. Yeah, guys, you can invest at angel.com/David. And yeah, join us again next week, same time for another live stream. Also, some more really cool things coming up in the coming weeks. But thanks to everyone for watching, and have a good day.
Look into my eyes. Do you see fear? You come at me with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the God of Israel. Yes! Right between the eyes! Did you see that? Anyone? Of course not. Okay then, one more time. Tally, not now. I'm trying to protect us from this Philistine. Whoa. No, not that way. Come on. Back to your mom. Right, Philistine. Oh, wait. Right between the eyes. Oh, of course. That one you saw. Tally! Tally, no! I'm coming, girl! Whoa, easy! Shira! I will bring her home safely. Whoa! Hey, whoa, Tally, wait, no! There you go. I'm almost through. Whoa! Okay.
Oh! Whew! Tally, stop! No!
Oh, that doesn't help.
That does. Stop!
Thank you. Yena haleni nafshi yeshove yancheni b'magalet tzedek leman shemo.